The answer is simple.
That ending was not born from Blade Runner's soul. It was added to make the movie easier to swallow.
And here is the strangest part. The peaceful landscape was built using unused aerial footage connected to Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. So one of the most famous fake happy endings in science fiction was created from leftover material tied to one of the most famous horror films ever made. A horror movie helped give Blade Runner its false hope, but the horror still leaked through. Because even with sunlight, the ending never fully works. Deckard and Rachael may be driving away, but the questions follow them. Is Rachael going to die soon? Is Deckard human? Did Gaff spare them because he felt mercy, or because he knew escape did not matter? The studio tried to give the audience relief, but the movie's darkness was too strong to bury. And this is where the fake happy ending completely falls apart. Blade Runner is not a story about escape. It is a story about identity. It is about whether memory makes us real, whether love can exist inside something manufactured, and whether a person is still human if their entire past was designed by someone else. The theatrical ending tried to move Deckard and Rachael out of the nightmare. The real ending trapped the nightmare inside Deckard. That is why the unicorn is more powerful than any explosion or final battle could have been. It is tiny, silent, almost fragile, but it suggests that someone else knows the most private part of Deckard's mind. It suggests that his dreams may be programmed. It suggests that his entire life may be a script he never knew he was following. And then there is the missing replicant problem. Early in the film, Bryant tells Deckard that 6 replicants escaped. 1 was killed trying to enter the Tyrell Corporation. That should leave 5. But Deckard only hunts 4. Zora, Leon, Pris, and Roy Batty. So where is the 5th? Production history gives one answer. Another replicant named Mary existed in earlier versions and was removed. But because the line about 6 replicants remained, fans noticed the math did not add up. And once the unicorn ending returned, that mistake became fuel for a much bigger theory. Was the 5th replicant hiding in plain sight? Was it Deckard? This is where Blade Runner becomes more than a detective story. If Deckard is human, then the unicorn means he is being watched and manipulated. But if Deckard is a replicant, then every part of his identity becomes unstable. His memories, his dreams, his job, his loneliness, his love for Rachael, even his belief that he is different from the beings he kills. Suddenly, the whole film changes shape. When Deckard interrogates Rachael, he thinks he is testing her humanity. But maybe one artificial person is testing another. When Deckard hunts the replicants, he thinks he is enforcing the line between human and machine. But maybe he is a machine trained to kill his own kind. And when Roy Batty saves Deckard's life, the emotional center of the movie becomes even more haunting. Roy is supposed to be the monster. He is dangerous, violent, desperate. But in his final moments, he shows mercy. He saves the man who came to destroy him. Then he sits in the rain and speaks about memories that will vanish when he dies. Attack ships on fire, sea beams glittering in darkness, a life filled with impossible experiences that no one else will ever understand. Then he is gone. That scene destroys the moral structure of the film. If a replicant can fear death, mourn memory, and choose mercy, then what makes him less human than the people hunting him? The studio's happy ending wanted viewers to leave with hope. Ridley Scott's darker ending wanted viewers to leave with doubt. And doubt is what made Blade Runner immortal. Because the real ending does not say, Deckard is definitely a replicant. It does something better. It makes certainty impossible. It forces you to re-watch every scene with suspicion. Deckard's tiredness feels different. His coldness feels different. His loneliness feels different. His relationship with Rachael feels more tragic, because if both of them are artificial, then their love is not fake. It may be the only real thing either of them has. That is the cruel beauty of the film. The humans often behave like machines. The machines fight desperately to live. The city is alive with movement, but dead in spirit. The replicants are artificial but full of longing, and Deckard stands in the middle, hunting answers while possibly being the biggest question of all. That is why the studio version could never fully erase the original meaning. You can add narration, you can add mountains, you can add sunlight, but you cannot completely remove the fear buried inside the story. The fear that memory is not proof of identity. The fear that the soul cannot be measured. The fear that a machine may become human while humans forget how to feel. Over 40 years later, the ending feels even more disturbing. In 1982, Blade Runner seemed like a strange nightmare about synthetic people. Today, it feels almost prophetic. We live with artificial intelligence, copied voices, digital faces, surveillance systems, stored data, and machines that can imitate human expression. The old question was whether technology could become like us. The new question is whether we would even know the difference. That is why the band ending legend refuses to die. People are drawn to it because it sounds like a secret scene. But the truth is stronger than the rumor. The ending was not hidden because it showed something forbidden. It was buried because it refused to comfort the audience. It refused to explain Deckard. It refused to rescue Rachael. It refused to turn love into a clean escape. Instead, it left them at the edge of uncertainty. Gaff's line echoes over everything. It's too bad she won't live, but then again, who does? That line is not just about Rachael. It is about everyone. Humans die. Replicants die. Memories die. Cities die. Even the corporations that build gods eventually fall. The only difference is how much time we get, and what we choose to become before that time disappears. The theatrical cut gave viewers a road. The real ending gave them a mirror, and inside that mirror was the question the studio tried to soften for decades. If your dreams can be known, your memories can be planted, and your life can be designed by someone else, then what part of you is truly yours? That is why the unicorn still matters. Not because it gives one simple answer, but because it makes every answer dangerous. Maybe Deckard is human. Maybe he is a replicant. Maybe even Ridley Scott and Harrison Ford disagree because the argument is the point. Blade Runner survives because it does not close the case. It opens the wound. So no, the ending was not banned in the usual sense. It was buried under fear, narration, sunlight, and studio panic. But when the darker version finally returned, it revealed the soul of the movie. Blade Runner was never really about a man hunting machines. It was about a man slowly discovering that the word human may not mean what he thought it meant. And maybe that is the ending they were truly afraid of. Not Deckard escaping, not Deckard dying, not even Deckard being artificial, but the possibility that a machine could dream, love, suffer, and show mercy, while the humans around it forgot how.